Nice boy. Nice boy. Digging into the Ocean Ranger last week for the history talk was pretty tough. In our country, that industrial disaster is second only to the Hillcrest mining incident in 1914. The families of those men are still with us today, and our country does nothing to honor them. Those folks gather every year in Newfoundland. It's just hard on me that that's how our industry is remembered. But we will do something about that. This week, I thought I'd tell you a little story about the first time Joe Ruffneck went up the derrick to work on the monkey board and throw some pipe. The year was 2001. We were working in a place called Monias in northern British Columbia. I had been on the service rigs for a few months, pretty lucky to get on a crew with some fairly intense old school gentlemen, and they were training me up pretty hard. It was the middle of winter, and the time came for old Joe to get a chance to go up the stick and throw some pipe. Now, if you think I love roughnecking now, it was pretty pure-hearted back then, and I was fired right up to get up there. On the derrick belt went, and I strapped it all up tight, and hustled up the stick. Well, on a little single service rig, it's always 7-8 meters above the ground. On a double service rig, you're pushing 17, 18 meters above the ground. Bigger and higher on the drilling rigs, naturally. But for me in that moment, this was big time. This is my first time up the stick to throw some pipe. You have a fall rest and you're strapped to the back of the monkey board, which is the platform you're working on up there. You got half the pipe on either side of you and you're working on a little dive board, straddling that, throwing some pipe in the blocks. Well, there I was sheepishly throwing my string of pipe in there. We were getting through it. My driller was rigorously, verbally encouraging me to throw the pipe a little harder. About halfway through the string, we were on the off driller's side, last joint in the row. And my driller was up one side of me and down the other, and quite frankly, I'd had enough. Well, I'm not a small man, and I cocked back with that joint of pipe, and up came the blocks. Bam! Gave it everything I got. No clang, just the sail of that joint, the tail of the joint kicked out on the bottom, and that joint come across the work floor and nearly took out my driller's head. It blew up the clutch control on the driller's panel. It was quite the scene. Certainly stuck with me for a little bit, and that's okay. Some of the best times of my life were on that service rig, and I'll be happy to share some more stories as we move on. Thanks for joining me for a little history this week.